This is the RamanaMaharshi Satsang. I'm reading from and commenting on the essence of Yoga Vasishta. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself. Welcome. This is Richard Clarke. I'm reading and commenting on verses from the essence of Yoga Vasishta, a text loved by Sri RamanaMaharshi. I'm not a teacher or a guru, just someone sharing teaching that I love. The Yoga Vasisha is one of the great classics of Advaita Vedanta. It teaches of the illusion of the world, the self, and liberation. This first chapter is on dispassion, and I'm reading verses 5 through 8. The great remedy for the long-lasting disease of samsara is the inquiry, who am I? To whom does the samsara belong? Which entirely cures it. Not a day should be spent in a place which does not possess the tree of a wise knower of truth, with its good fruit and cool shade. The sages are to be approached even if they do not teach. Even their talks in a light vein contain wisdom. The company of sages converts emptiness into fullness, death into immortality, and adversity into prosperity. Now, let's review the verses. 1:5. The great remedy for the long-lasting disease of samsara is the inquiry, who am I? To whom does this samsara belong? Which entirely cures it. Vasishta compares worldly bondage to a chronic disease that only one medicine can cure, self-inquiry. By asking sincerely, who am I? And to whom does this life of pleasure and pain appear? The mind turns inward to its source. This inquiry reveals that samsara never truly belonged to you. It was sustained by misidentification with the body and the mind. When attention remains in awareness itself, the illusion of bondage fades. The knower of the self is no longer entangled in the movements of thought, desire, or fear. This simple inquiry is both diagnostics and cure. You're invited to stop seeking relief outside yourself and instead question the very sense of I that feels bound. Each time suffering appears, turn attention inward to the one who experiences it. The recognition that you are pure awareness ends the search and the struggle. Freedom is not created, it is uncovered. You are already free. Let this inquiry become your constant companion, dissolving ignorance like sunlight removes darkness. With steady attention to the self, samsara loses its hold, and peace stands revealed as your natural state. 1.6 Not a day should be spent in a place which does not possess the tree of a wise knower of truth, with its good fruit and cool shade. Vasishta uses the image of a tree to describe the presence of the wise. The knower of truth offers shelter and nourishment to sincere seekers, much like a fruit-bearing tree provides shade and sustenance. A day spent away from such influences allows the old patterns of ignorance to grow stronger. The company of the wise calms restlessness and points you back to your own inner clarity. Their silence, presence, and words all serve to remind you that peace is your natural condition, available now, not after long striving. You're encouraged to seek the presence of the realized, either in person or through their words. Their company helps your attention return to the self whenever it strays towards the unreal. The fragrance of truth spreads from those who live in it. Even brief contact can awaken deep stillness within you. Spend your days near such influence, for it strengthens discrimination between the transient and the eternal. To live without that company is to walk in heat without the shade. 1.7 The sages are to be approached even if they do not teach. Even their talks in a light vein contain wisdom. Vasishta points out that a sage's wisdom is not confined to formal instructions. Their ordinary words, laughter, and casual gestures all carry the fragrance of truth. When the ego is dissolved, every expression arises from stillness and points back to it. Being near such a one is itself a teaching, for their peace transmits silently beyond speech. The sincere speaker recognizes wisdom even in their simplest remarks. What matters is not the content of words, but the presence from which they come. You're reminded that wisdom is alive in the being of the sage, not just in philosophy. Listening or reading with a quiet heart, you begin to sense what cannot be spoken. The sage mirrors your own self, unmoved, radiant, and complete. Approach them with humility, not for instruction alone, but for communication and communion. Let your heart absorb their silence more deeply than their words. The true teaching is transmitted beyond speech, awakening the same stillness within you. 1.8 The company of sages converts emptiness into fullness, death into immortality, and adversity into prosperity. Vasishta declares that the association with the wise transforms life itself. Their presence dissolves feelings of lack and replaces them with completeness. What seems like loss or suffering becomes a doorway to awakening. Being near one established in the self, your own heart begins to mirror that state of freedom. The same world that once appeared as burden now shines with peace. The sage's influence is not through words alone, but through their silent transmission that awakens what is already within you, your eternal nature, beyond birth and death. You're invited to recognize how true companionship uplifts the soul. Being with or reading words from those who know the self transforms your perception of everything. The sense of separation fades, revealing a quiet wholeness beyond all appearances. This association is not about gaining something new, but remembering what you already are. Seek that company whenever possible, and let your own presence, one once rooted in awareness, bring the same transformation to others. The light that flows through the sage is your own self shining back at you. Vasishta teaches that self-inquiry and the company of the wise are the twin forces that dissolve ignorance. You are shown that the cure for bondage lies within. By questioning, who am I, and resting in the presence of those who know. Both lead you home to the self, ever free, complete, and radiant. Now, a video discourse by Nome, Inquiry to Know Yourself.
I haven't got any audio.
Neither do I, Carol.
Okay, let me see if I can. I thought I had set it up, but I didn't. Excuse me.
Born and in.
You got it.
If only you know yourself, you will find yourself to be bodiless and therefore unborn and imperishable. You will find yourself to be sense transcendent and therefore not an object of perception. You will find yourself to be mind transcendent and therefore forever unconceived. And you will find yourself to be non-individualized, not particularized, and therefore devoid of bondage and suffering. You will find yourself to be of the nature of Satchidananda, being, consciousness, bliss, without beginning and without end. To know yourself, inquire. Inquire deeply within yourself to know your own nature, your very existence. The knowledge of yourself is unique in that it contains no division between a knower and a known, a subject and an object. The knowledge is entirely non-objective of the very nature of consciousness itself. What is the nature of your own consciousness? What is the very nature of your existence? You cannot say, I know it as such and such, for whatever such and such is, it's not yourself. The Maharshi has said, in question form, are there two selves, one to know the other? The self is only one. Your existence is invariably indivisible. As all confusion and its consequent suffering derive from mistaking yourself to be something that is entirely not yourself. Similarly, by the cessation of misidentification, unconditioned, uncaused bliss is revealed as the very nature of yourself. Your very being, your very existence, is the core of the teaching. How will you learn it? How will it be taught? Yet how can you be without it? Because of its non-objective and eternal nature, silence is considered most eloquent. Hence the silence of Dakshinamurti. Hence the silence of Sri Bhagavan. What is that absolute reality indicated by silence? The reality cannot be known as it, as of this, as something objective. It is discerned by a clear inquiry into the nature of your existence. Who am I? Look for that in you which is neither appearing nor disappearing, which is neither gained nor lost at any time. Discern that in you which is never an object of thought. Discern that in you which is entirely formless, bodiless, therefore unmoving and attributeless. If thus you inquire profoundly, you will find that you are just being and never become this or that. Neither an I nor anything else. That is neither an individual nor any kind of thing. If thus you inquire and know yourself, the consciousness by which you know is the knowledge and is the to be known. If inquiring and thus conclusively knowing yourself, you yourself will be the happiness that is utterly non-dependent. That which the Upanishads declare to be Brahman, know for certain that is your nature. You are not anything else. If you assume you are something else, inquire and find out.
And now we're going to take a few minutes and inquire. You exist. Notice that you exist. And you know that you exist. Inquire. What in me is aware of space, time, and change, yet itself never changes? What is this I that feels bound? Is it real? Is it always there? Am I open to recognizing grace in the form of the teachings and guides already present in my life? Do I need anything more than I have now? Who are the great souls I allow to influence me? And do they carry me towards freedom or deeper entanglement? Who am I? What am I? What is real? What exists? All right. And we'll close with a chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Now, Vasishta was talking about uh, the company of the wise as being an important step. And now we don't have gurus hanging around readily available to us, and we have to use the words and the company of each other and things like this satsang. And in the Tuesday and Thursday satsangs that you guys are having. And that is something that we can share with each other.
Yeah, this is a good time to thank you, both you and Carol, for this time. It really is precious. Thank you. Thank you.
Likewise. Please go on.
Go ahead.
Likewise, for me, it's a midweek respite, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Vasishta says, keep the company of sages, as if, there's just a couple live down in the next block. And,
Right.
it's not, I've been looking for you, Richard, my whole life. Krishnamurti, I guess, he consider him a sage.
Yeah, sure.
But he was not very accessible. And he never, not very good at giving you guidance, like on how to make it happen for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
the way that Ramana is.
Right. Well, we all share Ramana as the sage whose words can take us deep. And now we're sharing Vashisha. We also have teachers like Shankara who can give us that same deep experience, but we uh, need to use these. I read stuff every day and, make my daily videos of stuff that I read. And for me, that daily contact is really important. And so I would encourage all of you to find some way of doing that for yourself. That certainly was one of the things Vasishta was saying. Vasishta was saying you need to find your sage and you need to, uh, absorb from him what you can every day because your mind keeps wandering out into the traps of the world and you need help to keep going back to, and what you're going back to, of course, is yourself, to what you always have been. For me, one of the things that helps is to ask myself what is always and let myself experience that.
One of the things that I think you're very good at, and I've said this before, is you're asking the right questions. I'm wondering what training or where did you, I mean, it's an unusual gift that you have. I think the questions are really, really good. Where did that come from? Where did you
Well,
get? Yeah.
the questions come from the text that we read.
Yeah.
But with Nomi's training, I mean, we spent a lot of
Right.
time
I
with
would
Nomi.
say that's really the biggest answer.
Right.
We spent 15 years with Nome, and after a decade or so, it starts to seep into your thick skull.
Or not.
And the questions, I think, are important because there really is only so much you can get by listening to somebody discoursing or talking about this stuff. To really get it, it needs to become part of your experience. And you get that through the questions, through dealing with the questions. So I think the questions are at least as important as all the words.
I believe the questions solicit an answer. And if I verbally respond, not in my mind, if I verbally respond, then there is a subsequent automatic connection to my word.
Uh-huh.
And that sets even stronger than a thought, which goes through my mind. Lots of thoughts go through my mind. Of course, it's constant and persistent. And so when I respond, and I use it in my conversations as well, is ask a question. That's the connectivity in the dialogue with my connecting with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So ask those questions, as Robert pointed out, are powerful. They're designed to be that way.
And what I know is that, what you're going to find within yourself. And the questions are intended to be an aid to do that.
Yeah, you can almost, well, I sense that feeling, the I feeling, as I reach down for those questions. You can feel yourself sinking into that what we Christians call the ground of being. You can feel it.
That's perfect. Anyway, thank you all for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Again, next week it will be an off week as I deal with the aftermath of the human growth hormone injections. But we'll be back in 2 weeks and we'll be ready to share the truth with each other.
By the way, I'll be gone, brother, for the next month. But I'll be,
Ah,
if I can get in, I will. But my
okay.
my tenants will be a bit choppy.
Very
Thanks.
good. And we still have the videos while you're traveling. So, namaste.
Namaste.
See
Thank you,
you in
Richard.
two
Namaste.
weeks.
Must stay.
Namo Ramanayo.